Welcome back to Herbal Product Technology and Regulatory Sciences. Unit 4. We are now reached to end of the Unit 4, where we have already learned about the herbal drug industry and their contribution for the herbal drug technology. In current session, we will learn about the Schedule T, that is GMP guidelines for ASU medicine, their general requirements and basics. This will be the overview of the lecture. Introduction to the Schedule T and GMP. Schedule T of the Drug and Cosmetics Rule 1945 specifies good manufacturing practices for Indian system of medicine, specifically Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani and partly homeopathy. It applies to Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani and the homeopathic medicines. GMP ensures that medicines are constantly produced and controlled according to quality standards. The provision to aim to safeguard patient health and ensure therapeutic efficacy regulations plays a major role. Schedule T, it forms the legal backbone for quality assurance in ASU drug manufacturing. A good manufacturing practices is a system ensuring quality in production and testing of the drug. If you have a good practice about manufacturing, the quality of product also of utmost level. GMP does not prescribe exact manufacturing method but provides guidelines principle for the same. For example, if you are doing any recipe in your kitchen, then you need to just know the procedure to prepare particular dish, but it cannot give you a time bound requirement for addition of each ingredient. That cannot be possible because every person will have a different technique to produce a same dish. Similarly, the ASU medicine we have diversity in their preparation and their method of preparation. Because of that, the GMP guidelines cannot be a same for all, and that is why they cannot prescribe a strict rules for manufacturing. They can only give you the guidelines which need to be followed for the better quality products. Manufacturers have flexibility to design suitable quality system. They can deviate with the scope of a guidelines, but they cannot override the guideline as per the regulation. Responsibility lies within the manufacturer to comply with the GMP standard. If any manufacturer is not following the GMP guidelines prescribed by the rule, then they can have a consequences of penalties, but it is justifiable, then they can get rid of from those penalties. The emphasis is on consistency, safety and reliability of a medicinal product is given in all the guidelines from Schedule T. There are few exemptions as per the Schedule T. The registered Vaidyas, Siddhas and Hakims which belongs to Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani medicine, preparing such medicine for own patients are exempted, because it is specifically for the industry or large scale level guidelines. Exemption applies only when medicines are not sold in the market. If they are being made for the small group of people and being sold in a single dispensary in such medicine, in such premises where they get produced, the GMP guidelines are not mandatory. This provision is under the IMCC Act 1970. The exemption recognizes traditional practices based medicinal preparation. If any small scale producer preparing a preparation for a small quantity or for use of a limited population, in such case these guidelines are not mandatory as they are not under the scope of GMP. Commercial manufacturing remains under the strict GMP regulations. If it is getting sold out in the market, in the different locations, in the different pharmacies, then GMP guidelines are mandatory for such producers and such preparations. Control of manufacturing processes. The manufacturing processes must be clearly defined and documented so that any changes need to be done in such processes can get traced back. Critical processes must be validated for the consistency. Process control ensure compliance with a specification, and specification will give you a good quality products. Any variation must be assessed for quality impact. The variation which has a large quality impact should be documented properly so that all such in future variation should be avoided. Control processes reduce risk of defect and contamination in the final quality product. Documentation and quality manuals. Each licensee must develop documented procedures for manufacturing processes. Procedures should be complied into quality manual. These manuals should be accessible to the authority and to the producer. Documentation ensures consistency and traceability of the operations. As we have seen in the other units that there are various operations established for the procedure of manufacturing these herbal drugs. Now, all these operations are mandatory to get a good quality products, and that is why whenever there any change in such procedures or operations, it need to be traced back so that any impact of those variation in the quality can also be get understood. A manual must be available for inspection by authority as well as day-to-day operations handling people. Documentation support accountability and regulatory transparency. Traceability and batch records. Batch manufacturing record enable full traceability. We also call it as a BMR. Now, a BMR was not a mandatory for ASU practitioners and producers, but because of the regulations, it is very essential to document this BMR till the expiry of the product. Most of the herbal formulations do not possess expiry. They have a use well before statement, and as per the regulation, it is required to maintain this BMR till that period. Record must be retained in the accessibility form, either in the hard copy or in a soft copy format. Traceability helps in recalls and quality investigations. It is rarely have been seen that the herbal products are recalled from the market. But if any circumstances arises, it need to be done at a immediate level, and that is why this BMR need to be well documented. It ensures accountability throughout the product life cycle. Change management and validation. Any change in the process must be evaluated scientifically. Maybe it is a smallest change in the weighing process of the raw material or a largest change as a change into the temperature of and pressure during the extraction and other operations. All these changes need to be validated so that its impact on the quality can get assessed. Finally, the quality is the main important component of the product. Changes affecting quality require validation at every instances. Risk assessment is mandatory before implementation. Risk in every step from the procurement, before that from the cultivation till it reach to the plant and then it get processed to the formulation. Every step the risk assessment is mandatory. This risk assessment will help to understand where the quality can have a impact during these operations. Sometimes they may have a minor impact, but on a longer term that minor impact may be turned to the major one. That is why this risk assessment is have a good significance in the process of GMP. A small example of heavy metals. Heavy metals can be in a trace amount and may not be have a much significant in the product quality at the earliest instances. But if such products are being administered by the patient for longer period, then it may have a very severe complications. Validation ensures safety and efficacy are maintained. And finally, the documentation of changes support regulatory compliance. As every step, the change control can give a good documented proof for the compliance of regulations. So that every documentation is important. Whatever we have learned in the today's session, we are going to do in detailed study of those segments in the next unit, so that we will get to know actual real life examples in related to all these topics. For today's lecture, we have done with the requirements. Now we will go in next lecture final requirements about the GMP. Thank you.